Hey everybody, my name is Teresa Palavoda and I'm your professor for this very quick 1101 class here in summer 2023 at TCC. I want to welcome you to the class. I would ask you to please all read the syllabus, and you'll see a little syllabus quiz, and that's just in there so that I can make sure that you actually read the syllabus instead of just saying, oh yeah, I'll read the syllabus later. It's important. The syllabus is a contract between us so that you're aware of what I expect, and I am assured that you understand that. I don't think we'll have any problems in this class. I don't expect. As a matter of fact, I expect everyone to make a really good grade in this class. So this is a class that if you do your work, you will pass. If you don't do your work, you won't pass. That easy. If you think that, excuse me, you can just sort of check in every once in a while and do the minimum and still pass, that won't happen. You've got to turn in all the papers and do them timely, and then we're going to work on them together. So it should be pretty easy to do. I think so. Most people do really well in my class. So the first paper that you're going to have is a narrative. And that's just a fancy way of saying a story about who you are. You can use I, me, my. That's not a problem. As a matter of fact, I want you to do that. But what I want you to do, I do not want you to tell me about your dog or your mom or how much you love your dad or any of the things that you might have written in a get to know you paper that you would do in high school. Instead, I want you to write about something that you then tell, where I learn about you without you actually telling me certain things about you. Okay, so I want you to tell me a story about yourself, and from that story, I would learn some things. So, for example, if you really like to swim, then you might tell me about a trip that you took in which you did a lot of swimming. But what you wouldn't say is, I love to swim. In other words, you're just letting me know by telling me where you went and what you did, how much you love swimming, right? So if you have a skiing story you want to tell, or a story about, I don't know, going walking and seeing an alligator at, St. Mark's or whatever, and how scary it was or how exciting it was, do that, but don't say, oh, I love alligators, or I was really scared when this happened. In other words, let me be there with you, okay? So, for example, I'm going to give you a little story here. When I was 40, my first husband died. And then I did something really ridiculous. I bought a horse. I'd never owned a horse. I didn't know how to ride a horse. I mean, I had ridden as a kid, but I was a grown woman. And one day I noticed that my horse wasn't doing well. And so the vet where we came out, looked at it and said, I think, took some blood and stuff, and said that she had something, her name is Magic, she's fine, by the way, that she had something called equine protozoa, blah, blah, blah. And it's sort of like leukemia for horses, which was what Steve died from, my first husband. And so I was like, oh, no. I'm going to make sure Magic is okay, because we're not having any of that. No more death here. So so what I did was I thought, okay, I will find a vet. The first vet said, I don't know what to do about this. You need to find a vet specialist. So I was like, okay. So I ended up, my nephew was staying with me, and I was doing some stuff. And then I thought, when I get back from work, I will figure out the vet thing. And so I go to work, and all of a sudden, I'm not making this up, a fish falls from the sky right in front of me. And it wasn't like a dead fish, like the neighbors hated me and threw a dead fish over. No, it was like, whew, and then flop, 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 and then like that. And I was like, I didn't know what happened. And as a matter of fact, I thought, am I really seeing this? So I called Josh and said, Josh, come. And he ran out, and he was like, and he looked up at the sky, and he was like, where did this come from? And I was like, I don't know. So poor Josh, he's always the person that has to bury things. So he took care of the fish. And then I went on to work. And when I came back that night, I thought, I need to figure out about a vet. And what am I going to do? And then at that time, yeah, it was a minute, more than a minute, as you would say. I go out, actually, your probably older sisters would say that, but whatever. I go out and I start to, I pick up something called Yellow Pages, and that was the way we found things back then. You would flip through and it would say veterinarians, specialty veterinarians. And when I got down there, there was a Dr. Fish. And I was like, oh, wow, that was crazy. So I called Dr. Fish, and he had just been to Gainesville at the vet center and had, he had attended a seminar on equine protozoa, whatever the name of it is. And so, he was able to treat Magic, and she did fine with the treatment, and she's out in the yard. Well, not in the yard, but out in the pasture there, my neighbor's pasture. So she's done fine in all these years. So if I wrote that, I would write it just like that. Write it as if it is a dialogue. Write it as if it is a conversation between you and someone else. Just write it the way you want to. If that means using your slang, your vernacular, whatever story you want to tell. But what that does is, you know a lot about me now. You know I must have a sibling if I have a nephew. You know that I believe in some sort of mystical higher power, because I looked up as if to say, did God send this to me? Which I believe that that's what happened. So I believe in those types of things. Now, I didn't say to you, I believe in mysticism or spiritualism or God. I didn't say that, but you were able to find that out based on my story. So what I want you to do is to write a story in which you let me know something about yourself, while also, so you're teaching me something about yourself, but you're not outwardly saying it. You're not saying, I believe in God, or this is why I believe in Jesus, or this is why I never go, across a bridge at night, or, whatever it is. So I want you to tell me a story, and just really teach me something about who you are. It can't be longer than a page, 1 page, double-spaced, MLA format. And you'll find out that writing 1 page is much more difficult than writing a bunch of pages, because you got to go in there and edit and get rid of it. You're going to have a rough draft due. I will look at the rough draft and I'll give you feedback. If your rough draft is longer than a page, that's okay. But the final version needs to be 1 page. I think we're going to have a good semester. Anybody have any questions, feel free to email me and ask me those questions. Thanks. Bye.